In today's video, we're gonna go over the different types of banners in Genshin Impact, as well as talking about the pity system and how it works, explaining the terms you might hear when it comes to pulling for banners on Genshin, like soft pity, hard pity, the 50-50, and the guarantee. Like, how many pulls do you need to get a 50-50, or what even is a 50-50? I'm gonna do my best to try to explain everything and all there is to know about banners in Genshin Impact. So with that being said, let's start with the standard banner. To start off, the standard banner has its own unique currency called the Acquaint Fate. You need these to pull on the standard banner. These are earned just from exploring Teyvat and collecting those oculi, and if you're exploring Sumeru, turning in those Dendro sigils also gets you additional Acquaint Fates. So basically just playing the game and you'll just get these naturally. Feel free to use these at your leisure since you cannot convert them into the other type of fate, which we'll get into later. They are only used on the standard banner. When it comes to wishing in Genshin Impact, you can either choose to wish a single time, or you can wish 10 times in a row. I'm blocking the 10 times pull here with my gigantic head. The difference between the two, other than the number of pulls, is you are guaranteed at least one 4-star something. That could either be a weapon or a character when doing your pull. I usually just do the 10 pulls when I'm pulling on a banner. So when you pull on any banner in Genshin Impact and you don't get any 5-star character or weapon, so in the standard banner's case, you can get 5-star characters or 5-star weapons, as you can see in the banner's cover. But let's say you do a 10 pull and you only get a 4-star character and the rest were just weapons. That would mean you just got 10 pity point. Let's say you do another 10 pull, you get a 4-star weapon and the rest were just 3-star. So now you would have 20 pity. When you get to around 70-ish pulls on the standard banner, you enter what's called soft pity. Now what this means is that you have a higher chance of getting a 5-star something. Now, how much more chance you have increases the closer you get to 90. Once you get to 90 pulls, that 90th pull is going to be, no matter what, a 5-star something, right? It can either be a character or it can either be a weapon. Now, just because you see Chi-Chi, Kaching, and Mona here on the banner does not mean that you're gonna pull them. Same with the weapons. It does not mean that you are gonna get what's on the cover when it comes to the standard banner. It's just an example of what could be pulled. If you want to see a full list of what can be pulled, all you have to do is click details on the bottom left, then click list of items, and you will see you can actually get Tignari, who's on the standard banner now. There's also Jean and Diluc, but if you look at the weapons as well, there's also the Amos Bow, Primordial Jade Spear, and the Wolf's Gravestone, as well as Lost Prayer to the Sacred Winds. So there's actually a bit more outcomes you can get when you get a 5-star off the standard banner. So basically, to reiterate, when you get to that 90th pull, you get what's called a guarantee. You are guaranteed a 5-star something on the standard banner. Now this is going to work a little bit differently when we get to limited character banners and weapon banners, but we'll touch more on that later. But basically, as you continue to pull on a banner in Genshin Impact, you're going to get these two currencies that you can see on the bottom left. Those are Starglitter and Stardust. We are going to quickly go over what they are for and how to spend them. Basically, open up the shop button in the menu, and then you click on Paimon's Bargains on the left, and you'll be taken to this screen here where you can use your Starglitter and your Stardust respectively. So, usually Starglitter is used for purchasing. You can purchase a character's constellation. You can also grab one of these 4-star weapons if you want. These are actually really good for free-to-play players. Not particularly the Royal set, but these alternate every month. So these alternate between the Royal set weapons and then the Blackcliff weapons. The Blackcliff weapons are actually pretty decent for free-to-play players, since you can actually get this currency as you continue to pull on a banner. You can also get additional fates if you want. There are monster materials here if you really, really want them, but I advise against it. And yes, you usually do get 2 characters in the Starglitter exchange. I bought Amber's consolation since she's a very rare character to get. Now, there's Stardust exchange is also pretty much the same thing. You can get additional monster materials here. I don't recommend this because you can actually just go out into the world and just farm them yourself. So why waste your Stardust unless you really, really need something in a pinch? I usually use Stardust to purchase additional fates for both banners, since that's probably the best thing on this menu. And that's pretty much Stardust and Starglitter in a nutshell. But yeah, going back to the standard banner, there are no 50/50s in the standard banner. You reach that 90th pull, and once you get it, your pity goes all the way back down to 0 and it resets. Obviously, it's called the standard banner or the permanent banner because there's no time limit. This is always going to be available to you in the game forever. I don't recommend spending your primo gems on it, since a lot of the standard characters will pop up in your limited banner pulls, and I'll talk more about that later. I'm not sure if I forgot to mention this on the permanent banner, by the way, but the permanent banner also has just about all of the 4-star characters that are available, except Candace, since she's brand new. But she will be added into the 4-star or the permanent banner most likely in 3.2. You can see that Dory is even in the standard banner now, even though she was only featured in the limited banner in the last update. So the next one we have are limited banners, and you can probably guess why. There's a time limit on the bottom left of this banner, indicating how much time is left before the next set of banners come into place. If you haven't been playing Genshin for quite some time, they actually run 2 limited character banners simultaneously now. So there is a Venti limited banner and a Sinnoh limited banner. They both have the same 4 stars, by the way. And pity between the limited character banners is shared. But first, let's talk about how a limited character banner works. And it is basically just like a standard banner, except they have a different currency used called the Intertwined Fate. We'll get some of these as well from exploring. If you're exploring Sumeru and turn in those Dendro sigils, you will get some of these, but most of the time you're going to be converting your primo gems into Intertwined Fates to pull on banners. And just like the standard banner, you can either pull once or 10 times and guarantee yourself a 4-star something. And you build pity as you continue to build pity. Again, once you get to around 70-ish pulls, you enter what's called soft pity all the way up until your 90th pull. And that 90th pull is called the hard pity, because you're guaranteed 100% a 5-star something. Now, when it comes to limited character banners, let's say you're starting from scratch. When you get to that 90th pull, that 5-star could be the character on the limited banner. However, it could also be a character from the standard banner. You cannot get 5-star weapons, I should say, from limited character banners. Now, if you end up pulling a standard character, that is what is known as losing the 50/50. Now, if you were to pull Sinnoh, that would obviously count as winning the 50/50, and that's where that term comes from, because when you get to the 90th pull, or earlier if you're a little bit lucky on the softer pity, your 5-star will either be this character on the limited banner or a standard one. Now, if you get him, your pity will reset all the way back down to 0, because you've won the 50/50. Now, let's say you lost it, you got a standard character, and now you're sad. Good news is that you can continue to pull up to 90 times again. So once you build up your pity, and assuming you're just unlucky and you don't pull him early, you build up pity once again, all the way up till another 70-ish pulls, and then your chances rise. Now you have what's called a guarantee. So no matter what, if you lose your 50-50, the next 90 pulls, that 5-star will 100% be the character that is on the limited banner. Now, just keep this in mind. When I say 90 pulls, I don't mean you actually have to pull 90 times, because you could always win your soft pity rolls if I'm just using 90 pulls as like the worst luck scenario. So in reality, if you have the worst luck in pulling a banner, then you're gonna need to pull 180 times, just in case you're very unlucky. And I'm just using 90 because it's easier to math. So as I mentioned earlier, pity is shared between limited character banners. So that means, let's say you pulled 150 times on Venti's banner. So that would mean you would only need to pull 30 more times, or 310 pulls, on Sinnoh's banner, and you will get that guaranteed Sinnoh. Pity also carries over in between limited banners when they swap. So let's say you spent all your Primo Gems trying to get to Sinnoh, you lost the 50-50, you're so close, but you just didn't get enough Primo Gems in time, and you're really sad. Well, it's your effort or your pity won't all go to waste or be lost when the banners change. They will carry over. And this is where the term quote-unquote building pity comes from, because some players realize that they're not going to be lucky, so what they do is they'll just pull on a banner knowing that they won't get the 5-star, and in an attempt to just get the 4 stars on the banner, or maybe they want more consolations or something like that. So they're quote-unquote building pity so that they can have either a 50-50 or a guarantee ready to use at their leisure. And I believe that covers pretty much everything on the limited character banners. Let's move on to the next one and the final type of banner in Genshin, which is the weapon banner. So just like limited character banners, weapons also have a time limit. They also use the intertwined fates. So you're going to have to share, this fate between characters and weapon banners. Now, before I even start talking about the weapon banner, let me just say this. If you are a new player, please do not pull on a weapon banner early. My advice to new players is to build up your character roster first and give them, most characters can be fine with just a 4-star weapon, which you will get as you pull on character banners. So you're really not missing out. I would only say pull on a 5-star weapon once you have a comfortable amount of characters. Now, that being said, let's actually talk about the weapon banner, because it does have one big difference compared to standard and limited character banners. On the bottom left, you can see there's something called the epitomized path. So what this is, basically in a nutshell, you could read what it does on the left there, but I'm going to just quickly summarize. You basically select one of the 5-star weapons on the banner that you want. So on the banner, there is the Staff of the Scarlet Sands, and you can click them to see what the weapons do, to see which one interests you more. And then you pick the one you want. So let's say I pulled Sinnoh, and now I want to get his weapon. So I would click the staff, make sure the check mark's there, and then click Chart Course. Now, the weapon has been selected, and you can back out of this menu, and I'm just going to explain what this means. Actually, before I exit this menu, you'll notice the 0 out of 2 fate points. So fate points are gained when you pull a 5-star weapon on this banner, and it's not the one you charted course for. So let's say I'm pulling on this weapon, hoping to get that staff, and I get an Elegy of the Wind. Unlucky. But I would get 1 fate point. So now I keep pulling on the weapon banner again, and then all of a sudden I get another 5-star. Unlucky. It's not the staff once again, and in fact I got another bow. Now I have 2 fate points. Now on my third pull, my third 5-star pull, the next 5-star I will get is 100% guaranteed to be the one I chose. The one I charted course for. This one. Now, this might sound better on paper, but it is a lot more pulls compared to a limited character banner. So this assumes you get 2 5-star weapons first, and then the third 5-star weapon you get will be the one that you charted course for. Now, something I should have mentioned earlier is that the hard pity on the weapon banners is actually slightly less than the limited character banners. It's actually at 80. So 80 is the hard pity. For weapon banners, you enter soft pity at around, I want to say 60-ish pulls, but I could be wrong there. It could just be at 70 again. You're not going to get that lucky and always pull a 5-star weapon off pity. Now, that means you would have to pull around 70 to 80 times, again, assuming the worst luck, just for one fate point, basically. So you pull 70 to 80 times, you get your pity, you pulled, you got the bow, unlucky, you would have to pull 70 to 80 times again. You get the pity, you didn't get it, you got... So by now you've already done almost 140, 160 pulls. That's a little less than getting a guarantee on a banner, but now you still have to pull for the 5-star again. Now you could get unlucky and have to do a hard pity once again. So it could take you up to 230, 240 pulls about to get the 5-star weapon you want, assuming the worst luck, by the way. I hope that wasn't too confusing when it comes to getting your fate points. Something I want to mention though is that fate points do not carry over to the next weapon banner. Your pity will carry over. Keep that in mind though. So if you've pulled on a weapon banner like 70 times, the next 10 pull you do will be a guaranteed 5-star weapon. However, you cannot just say like, oh, I'm gonna get 2 fate points so that the next time I get there's a 5-star weapon I want, I'm just gonna save up a guarantee. You cannot do that. So if you're going to go in on a weapon banner and chart your course and everything, and you already have fate points, you might as well go all the way and use them. Otherwise, this gets reset to 0 when the weapon banners change. So please keep that in mind. That being said, I hope my explanation on the pity and the different banners in Genshin wasn't too confusing. I tried my best to explain all the terms that you might be familiar with. Hopefully this video helped. If you have any questions on how pity works, or if I didn't explain something well, please leave a comment down below. I'll do my best to try to answer it. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching and hanging out. I'll see you guys in the next video.